So welcome back to podcast with Neil by Netflix Football. I'm tensed. I'm tensed. You can see how tensed I am just before United's most crucial match this season, the Champions League away match in Germany against RB of Leipzig. And to discuss that in depth, I have with me someone very special. He's from Delhi. He's almost a journalist, and he's the creator slash administrator of BunkSports. With me is Shubham. So let's all welcome Shubham to the show. Hi, Shubham. How are you feeling
Hi,
today?
hi Neil, how are you? I'm pretty good, man. Just a bit pumped up now. The game is very close and you could feel the tension building up. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. Just bringing on the lineups on screen, you see De Gea starts a back three of Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Wan Bissaka, Teles with the wing backs, Matic, McTominay, two further defensive midfielders, Bruno, Greenwood, and Rashford from the front trilogy, if I may say. But as you were saying a bit earlier, Shaw's fitness doubts are still there. Like he comes in for a match that is so crucial, so much crucial in the entire season. Like, is this a risk that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has taken? Would it pay off? What do you think? Considering that the
See,
City Derby is on the horizon.
well, if you ask me personally, I would have rested Shaw or maybe just given him like another just 45 minutes or 30 minutes in the second half. I would have just played with a flat back four. But when you look at it, Teles on as a wing back is a good option now. Now, when you play Shaw as a left-sided centre back, it somehow removes that defensive duty from Telles' game, and I think that would bring out the best of him. And credit to Oli, Pogba's not playing, and that for me that has made my day. I mean, that is a big statement from what we've heard Mino say uh, prior to the game. I think this is a big statement, and I am still a bit skeptic about the lineup, but I think we can go through.
Tough choice, tough words by Mino Raiola yesterday on his press conferences. Very ill-timed, very unprofessional, but he's an agent. We all know what we are dealing with right now. So going away from this, I will come back on the lineups as we draw closer to the match. But going on to the topic that's been in media, that's been flashing in media since yesterday. Do you think Mino Raiola has done what he's done? We know what he's done. Do you think that is Pogba to be blamed a bit more than people are accrediting him for?
100%. I mean, I have no problem with Mino Raiola. We've all known what he does for a living. We all know he moves his player here and there every few years just to get his millions. Paul Pogba is a player who came from our academy. He left in 2012, and Sir Alex rightfully called out Pogba and his agent. It's happening. It's 8 years down the line. It's happening again. I mean, it is something. Paul is not an 18-year-old kid now. He has to speak up. He's a World Cup winner. He's won titles with Juventus before. He's won the Europa League with us. You cannot have your mouthpiece just come out and speak like that for the club you love. Apparently, you love. I cannot stand Paul Pogba now. I mean, I don't have a personal issue with him, but if you cannot defend the colors you play for, you're good for nothing, mate. That's it.
Like if I go on and I would just want to bloody rant on Mino Raiola, but see, Paul Pogba came and said that what Fabrizio Romano said yesterday that Paul wanted a better team to play with. Like we signed Bruno Fernandes just because Paul Pogba wanted to be in a better team. like he was the only creative option. So Bruno Fernandes comes in, beats the Messiah, and just takes away all the limelight from Pogba. United are playing better, and they played the best football post lockdown with both Bruno and Pogba in the same team. And suddenly Pogba doesn't like being played in the number in the deep line playmaker anymore, the one he plays for France. This is an absolute joke of a timing. Like just before the Leipzig and the City match, Paul Pogba and his agent comes and does this. So I'll just like go into a few screen grabs that I have had from the West Ham match. I analyzed it, the one before the one after the West Ham match. But see here, like on the 56th second, where the ball is on the air, like Paul Pogba is jogging in the box. He should be covering his man from here. Like if you have your excuses, I get that you have your excuses that we don't have a defensive midfielder, but these are basics for a World Cup winner. Isn't this Shubham? Isn't this too much? Like he doesn't even seem interested in playing.
See, the thing is, Paul Pogba wants a better team to play around. Are you kidding me? Where does he play in our midfield? Is he better? Is he a better defensive player than what McTominay or Fred offers? No, he's not. Is he a better creative field midfielder than Bruno Fernandes? No, he's not.
Absolutely not.
Maybe on paper, maybe on his so-called potential, he is a World Cup winner. No doubt, he's a good player. Has he delivered anything in the 3 years he's been here? No. We paid what, 95 million for him? I don't think he's justified that price. Like Bruno came in at half that price, and Bruno has had an impact which Pogba cannot even imagine his dreams. I mean,
One thing that separates Bruno from Paul Pogba, the only point is that consistency. Bruno has come in, and
exactly. Not,
even if
I
it's
mean,
a
not just
7 out of 10
consistent, not,
performance, you know what you're
I
going to
mean,
get with
not
him.
just consistency. Bruno has lifted players around him like no one else could. Pogba is nowhere near the levels we expected Paul to be. I mean, look at the performances Rashford has been giving lately. Look at the performances. Look at how we have come back from what, like we came back and won against Everton. Did it against West Ham. We did it against Southampton. Take Bruno out of this team, we are not winning anything. You cannot just. He's not even a leg-to-leg replacement to begin with, and I don't think Paul Pogba can now bench even Fred or even McTominay at this point. I think the ship has sailed. I think Pogba needs to move on.
See, even in the slide, just rolling it 2 seconds ago after, like he should be in the box covering for the here. There's an overload. There's a like Jared Bowen. We know Marshall is not going to track, but being a midfielder, he should know his duties. Like even in this one, even he loses the ball over here. Jared Bowen does a flip flap and is almost away. He's bloody jogging. He is bloody jogging. See, even Cavani is faster in faster. There was a slide in the last video that I did where the referee was bloody faster than him. Like Paul, for heaven's sake, Paul Pogba, the World Cup winner. Are you kidding me? Shubham, is it time that we actually made a statement by like demoting him or something to the under 20s and make him like force him to stay on the club and let him on a free because Manchester United will never lose anything out of not selling Paul Pogba. Do you think that would be a wise decision at this point of time? Just play with his
See,
feelings?
there's a reason why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer prefers McTominay and Fred, because they run their asses off every game, week in, week out, so that Bruno can do what Bruno does. Pogba cannot do that. Pogba cannot give you a 90-minute game in which he covers every blade of the glass. He cannot do that. I mean, how do you accommodate Paul Pogba in that team? Can he play across the front three? No, he cannot. Is he a defender? No, he's a midfield player. Is he better than McTominay? No. Is he a better consistent performer than Fred? No. What should we do of this potential if it does not give us result? I mean, Bruno is untouchable in this team right now. He is a player you can just, even with a broken foot, he'll go out and play 90 minutes. Pogba cannot. Pogba, he's done. He's done. I cannot
Like
stand
Pogba,
him
I
here.
remember last season, Pogba had an ankle injury, had surgery, so-called surgery. I remember Andre Gomez had a double fracture. Came back before that, and Paul Pogba, meanwhile, became a father. Like he cannot step his foot on a field, but he can surely dance on a bloody bed, man. This is just damn, I mean, this is just damn disrespectful to the club that brought him in, that had so much faith in him in these years. Okay, Shreyan, thanks for joining in. Anything on Mino Raiola? Man needs to be slapped. Yes, I am holding a petition to slap Mino Raiola. One subscribe in my YouTube channel equal to one slap. I'll personally, if I make some money from that, I'll personally go to Italy. I'll take Shubham with me and we'll bitch slap that fucker out of his place. Like legit. Like
I'm all
legit.
in.
So okay, but after the Pogba debacle, I just want to keep it brief because I don't want to waste time on a wasted talent and a wasted prospect and a wasted human being. I just move on to another one who's not living up to his potential, like Anthony Martial. Shubham, brief thoughts on whether this is just a dry run like the ones Rooney, Van Nistelrooy, Van Persie have faced, because he's our top scorer by a good margin last season. Even if Rashford was there, he had lots of penalties. But at this time, I think, is
See,
this are we being too much impatient again with Martial?
for me personally, see, Anthony Martial is one of my favorite players at the club. I am not gonna hide that. I think he's a very good player. I think he's a very talented player, but at a club like Man United, you have to be consistent. Okay, so when you're praising Bruno for his effort, you are also praising Bruno for the consistency he puts in. He chips in with goals, he chips in with assists. When you're coming to Anthony Martial, I think he had a brilliant last season. You can give it to him, like that was his first proper season playing as a
As a
center
number
forward.
nine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I still don't think he's the real deal. I mean, he is one of my favorite players, but I am honest enough to admit I don't think Anthony Martial is the real deal to lead the line for United. I mean, you have taken some big names here: Ruud van Nistelrooy, Wayne Rooney, even Van Persie. These are players who could win you a game of football on their own. Anthony Martial, very hot and cold. I don't
Again,
think
again
he's
talking
justified
talking
the
about
trust Oli has put in him. Yeah.
again talking about consistency. I'll just briefly touch on Bruno. Like, this was, I just missed. I just have this statistic. I'll just bring it up on screen. Rather a formation kind of a thing. So this was United's first half formation versus West Ham. Like, you see where Declan Rice was running the game, like he was Rolls Royce in midfield, running the game first to every ball, channeling in the number 10, like boxing them in with efficient defensive triangles. See how deep United's team was and how narrow. They forced us to play narrow. Telles was the only one out wide because Greenwood, we all know, he'll come in. Martial was playing inside for half of the match. Cavani out wide. I don't know why. Van de Beek. I still feel that Van de Beek is more of a support striker kind of a player. I know he's Dutch and all, and he can play various positions, but playing a box to box in the Premier League will take some time to adjust. Now, similarly, if I just push this up, when Bruno came, see how United got higher up. Just a tactical reshuffle between Pogba and McTominay, and how expansive United was with just one change, and United were all high up. Declan Rice was busy eating grass while Bruno was there destroying his game and destroy. So just that instant impact. Shubham, just would like to ask you to comment on this. Like, does Bruno Fernandes remind you of Eric Cantona? Maybe the comparisons are very far fetched, but the actual impetus
No,
on
see,
what he brings to a football field.
I don't think the comparisons are far-fetched at all. I think the impact Cantona had on that team. I think Bruno has come in, he has lifted up everyone. You see, before Bruno, we had Jesse Lingard, Andres Pereira, even sometimes Juan Mata. I mean, I love Mata, but I don't think so he's got the legs to cover in anymore. When you talk about Bruno, you're not only talking about a number 10. Bruno is all over the pitch for United. He plays a lot of time even on the wings. He goes in deep, he makes the runs. I think Bruno is a player who has literally changed the entire club. He has changed the fortunes for Oli as well. He has brought in the best out of Rashford. And I mean, yeah, credits to Oli and his team. But Bruno is a player. I don't think at this moment any midfielder in the world is at par with the consistency and with the quality with that guy's producing. Even De Bruyne is a. I love Kevin De Bruyne. I know he plays for
Who
City and
doesn't?
all,
Who doesn't?
but
Okay, thanks, Abhijit, for joining in.
still,
It pains to feel like this, but without Pogba, midfield options look thin in creativity. But no one is greater than the club. I would rather play with a passionate Andreas than Pogba. Absolutely, you're spot on. You're bloody spot on.
fair point.
Pogba, with all this creativity, gives balls too much more, loses the ball too much. Like I would prefer a seasoned Van de Beek over a Pogba in that number 8 box to box role is that he knows when to release the ball. Paul Pogba holds the ball way too much to play in the Premier League. Like I remember Premier League's pressing stats, and I'm not going into the ones that how Premier League relegated clubs are spending. Like Paul Pogba can get away with it in any other league, but the Premier League is a different golfing class in itself. And talking about that, I'll just go into another topic because we don't have so much of time to discuss in depth. Like Ole in, Ole out has been so much. Like even today's selection, Devan has been commenting like a midfield of Matic and McTominay in such a high profile match. Your thoughts? So your thoughts, Shubham, on this?
See, I told you I'm not very impressed with the midfield right now. I would have played Van de Beek, Bruno, and Matic, or maybe McTominay, one of those, or maybe even a diamond. I mean, but well, you got to back what you got to back. I mean, I back Oli. I'll back this team to win this game. I think Matic and McTominay in the midfield. I think that would give a big cover for Bruno, and you can expect
And the
another.
defense as well.
Exactly. I mean, Matic's importance to this team is sometimes very underrated. He's a very underrated player, but I think in the context of the game, I would have preferred one day week. I would have benched Matic, maybe bring him on in the next half, but let's see. I mean, Oli knows better.
Like like as you say, Ole knows better, but uh, like it's always been this case. Like we are fifth in the Premier League with one match in hand, supposedly joined on points with Chelsea. If we win the match
Mm.
we have against Aston Villa in some time, but isn't it always the fact like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just one match away from getting sacked? Your thoughts on the impatience of United fans? Like me, I personally feel that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the best manager post Sir Alex Ferguson, not in terms of heavyweight, not in terms of tactics, but he's brought the group together and he knows his vision. And maybe the viruses of like Paul Pogba or anyone, like he sold Lukaku, and we all wanted to see him go at one point of time. If anyone says otherwise, they are just plain salty, or that they have idolized Arsenal fan TV. That's on live for quite a bit of time right now. But but don't you think that comments or our naivety in this is just a bit far fetched?
I have no clue where does this agenda tries for that Oli is not the right man for the job. See,
If
Ole
not
Gunnar
him, who
Solskjaer,
is?
I mean, even if you back it with some stats, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Bruno last summer. When did he get him? January.
Right.
Since January, no team has taken more points per game than Manchester United.
Even
Liverpool,
Liverpool.
yeah, exactly. He's done a better job than Jurgen Klopp in terms of results since January ended, and that says a lot about him. You give him his target, I think he would perform. We were talking about Martial being the number 9. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted Erling Haaland. Did we get him? No. Look what Haaland is doing. I know he's a Minoriola client, but he's a generational talent. Mason
Absolutely.
will take his time, but I think right now, if we need someone, I think Haaland would have made a different beast out of this team. And
Haaland would walk
missing
into
out
any
on
team
him,
at this moment of time.
exactly, missing out on him was a big miss for us. I mean, that was a big L that we took. And coming back to Oli, I don't have any doubt that he is the right man for the job. He has brought in a very good culture at the club. He has the balls to bench Paul Pogba,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and he, I would take a bullet for that guy. I mean, I think any United player would take a bullet for that guy. Harry Maguire plays. I mean, there is a lot of uh, agenda being pushed around at Harry Maguire. Yes, we overpaid for him, but at the end of the day, he's our club captain. He plays through the pain barriers. He takes injections. He plays week in, week out. He never misses a game. He's been solid since that result against Tottenham.
Absolutely.
There's a
Absolutely.
lot of hate on Harry Maguire, but he he is a player I think who has also shown a lot of progression, and I think credit goes to Ali.
Like talking about getting things right, one thing he got right when in magnanimous proportions was Mason Greenwood. I know he's been off a bit lately, but trusting him onto the team to replace both Alexis Sanchez, the creative outputs of Alexis Sanchez and Romelu Lukaku, without signing in a Jadon Sancho or a proper replacement, he has had his numbers like 19 goals in his debut season as a full-time first teamer. He has done wonders. Don't you think? Even though he is a bit on and off right now, he had his scandals with Phil Foden and stuff and the English media, bitch English media, or whatever we say. Do you think he is the man? Like signing Cavani on Ole's end would be a masterstroke considering that time frame. Like if you sign in Erling Haaland, there would be no space for Mason Greenwood to actually don that number 9 position. Like signing Cavani 2 3 years, learn from him. Mason is our number 9 with Anthony Martial. Don't you think that this is quite a benchmark or a blueprint that Ole might be following?
See, for me, if Haaland would have been at United right now, I think that would have been the end of the line for Martial. You
Oh,
can praise Martial for whatever he did last season, but he is not a proper centre forward. He is a fluid kind of a player, a left-sided player who likes to drift in. He's been given the responsibility to lead the line, but as you see, he has this hot and cold streak as well. And Haaland would have come in, he would have grabbed the balls out of that position, and he would have cemented himself. And Mason is a talent. Mason for me is the future of this club. He can play at the right wing, he can play center forward, he can take free kicks on both legs, he can play as the number 10, he can do anything. He's a superman, and he's just only what, 18, 19. I'm not worried about Mason at all. I think he has it in him to lock down that position for a decade at United if he keeps up.
he has to keep his head on his
Exactly.
heels
I
at the
mean,
moment of time.
I love Rashford, but I rate Mason higher than Rashford.
Yeah, the
The only
talent
thing
level is
Rashford
obvious.
has, I mean, yeah, exactly. The only thing Rashford uh, has set a standard on is his work rate. That is unbelievable. I mean, I love this
Like
club.
we
I think
forget
I
that
can talk
Rashford
about
is
any
just
player right now.
23. Likes of Son and Sterling just started peaking with a good team after when they were like 24, 25, something like that. Rashford just turned 23 for heaven's sake. Cut him
Exactly.
some
He's
slack.
too young. Exactly. He's very young, and his numbers are up there with the best in the league. See,
Absolutely.
I don't like to bring in comparisons with the Liverpool player, but Sadio Mane right now, Sadio Mane, you have Heung-min Son. These are the players Rashford is being compared with, and you have to give it that those players are at the peak of their powers, and Rashford is 23, and his numbers are up there. So there is a special player in Rashford.
Talking about all that, let's just dive into a bit of tactics. Let's just get our hands dirty at the moment of time. So if I show you a screen grab, just I was just like fiddling through YouTube channels and some tactical innuendo in me kicked on, and just I'm bringing on the screen over here. See, if you see the Leipzig versus Bayern Munich match, Leipzig, for people who do not follow the Bundesliga, Leipzig had a match with Bayern Munich in the weekend, which they played a 3-all draw. And before that, they went and won dramatically 4-3 against Istanbul Başakşehir with both of their first 11. And I think United are better rested at this point of time. So if I see, I just want to highlight a few things before I go to Shubham on his expert opinion. See, Upamecano is no always out of position at point of times. Like if Kingsley Coman is here at this point of time, if I move on to the next one, he got just nutmegged by Muller, and they do not Leipzig. What Leipzig does not do very well, even having three back, they do not track their runners. They do not track their runners at all. Kingsley Coman is between the lines. Mukiele is just doing a Paul Pogba over here, watching his brilliance, and he just slides it in. You know what this reminds me of? Exactly this one. Paul again, same similar kind of a movement. Paul Pogba playing in that first time pass and just slipping it in. You see the exact space, the exact kind of a movement. Shubham, with two men up top, you expect United to be playing on the counter and Leipzig to be boxing you in because they love to play narrow with Upamecano being the French Beckenbauer at times. Do you see a reverse of what happened, or would they be cautious again about this?
I think Upamecano is not playing tonight, is he?
I didn't
Upamecano
check the
is
lineup.
suspended for the game, and yeah, Upamecano is suspended for the game. But I mean, I get your point. Leipzig are a team who are tactically agile and they do like to push forward, and that does leave a lot of space behind. I mean, even if you talk about the reverse fixture when we played at Old Trafford, I mean, the second half when Bruno came on, when Rashford came on, you certainly had a lot of spaces and you certainly had a lot of that pace, that firepower. And what happened? Rashford got a hat trick, and all of those goals were, apart from the last one, they were on the counter. So that is one thing which we can still exploit today. And looking at our options, I think both Rashford and Mason, they are rapid players, and when Bruno joins in, I think this is an avenue which Oli has certainly excelled in. I mean, on the counter, I think we are one of the best teams in Europe right now, and that would be a big bonus for us tonight as well.
Like Julian Nagelsmann and Pep Guardiola, these players like always stick to their own tactics of boxing people in, gegenpressing, and maintaining that play, that field of play in the opponent's half. What does that
Yeah,
leave? Space in behind for runners like Greenwood and Rashford to exploit that.
exactly.
Similarly, this again, that similar space. Fred wins the ball or gets a pass, I don't remember, but plays in Martial like three defenders. Upamecano is Beckenbauering in the other half of the pitch at this moment of time. Again, plays through in. This is a very agile weakness that Leipzig have had over the last couple of games, exploited by Bayern Munich. Even across, I didn't get that screen grab where the right winger of Bayern just assisted Muller for that. And even the same thing over here. They are just exploiting those kind of spaces. Shubham, again, I'm just going back to that again. Do you think that Leipzig will be outsmarted by Ole? I know it's going to be a defensive match by United. We know from the lineup that is that, but we don't. We do we expect a Jose Mourinho X performance that from Ole's team to the Ole's Reds today?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And even going to the pre-match conference with when Oli was speaking, he was very clear about it. He said we are not going for a nil-nil draw. We have to win. We have to take the 3 points. And when you look at Bruno, when you look at Rashford, when you look at Marcus, that back five may suggest that we'll be looking to suck them in. And I don't think it's a negative thing at all. I mean, it's a way of winning. United have throughout their history been good at counter attacks, and it is something which even Oli has built his team around. And talking about Leipzig, yes, they do play a position kind of football, and with Angelino as the fullback. And I believe that tonight, Mason Greenwood, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, these three are going to be very, very important for us. And out of these
Even
three, I think Rashford has to be the guy. He's what on 6 goals already in this season in the Champions League. I expect a big performance from Marcus.
like I understand that. Just let us hop onto the match board for a moment.
Yeah,
So if you see this, let it load. Yeah, just a sec. If you see this, this is probably the lineup that which we are fielding right now. I'll just remove
exactly.
the banner for better clarity. So if you see, this is much the much talked about lineup. Luke Shaw is playing as the left center back. We expect Matic and McTominay to cover in these spaces, the channels. Wan Bissaka not that high, Greenwood and Rashford drifting wide, and Bruno playing a kind of a false nine role, which he always has been adapting. So, what do you think about this triangle over here? Like, is this going to be very crucial, as you said? Like, we expect some flare passes from Bruno to just what we saw in the reverse
See,
fixture?
a lot of creativity now rests on Bruno. Like last time we played a diamond, we had Donny in, we had Paul in. This time, I think Bruno has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. And even if you look deep, when you talk about a wing back, Teles, I don't think so. Rashford is a very good header of the ball, even young Mason. So when you talk about our wing backs, I'm not expecting a big performance from Teles or even Wan Bissaka. I don't think Wan Bissaka is a very good wing back to begin with. But talking of Teles, we do not have Cavani, not even on the bench. He's had a niggle, and Igalo, I I let's not go there. So I don't expect a big performance from our wing backs, and Bruno is. actually going to be the very, very important thing. And that actually brings me back to my point. I think Donny should have started. A lot of uh, creativity now lies on one man, and I think Oli could have played a gamble here. I think Matic could have been rested. Donny should have started the game. That would have taken a lot of pressure off Bruno's shoulder. And Donny is a player who can, you're talking about that triangle up top. We've all seen how Donny likes to play as a second striker. He can take that position in. He can play those intricate passes with Bruno. He can play those passes with Mason and even Rashford. I think Oli has missed the trick here, but let's hope for the best.
Just as you said, just going on to that point, playing that triangle over there, we know how high Bruno pushes up, and playing Matic and McTominay together means that there will be a huge space where actually Leipzig like to press and put over the transition of play. We see in Kunku and even Steve Paulson, if they're starting, will run ragged over here. So once Bruno actually drops deep, the whole team drops deep. So there is no triangle anymore. What happens is, even if United start a transition from here, if I just remove this, even if the attack is on this side, what happens is Rashford is here, Telles behind or over him. At times, let us consider he is over. Bruno at times central. This is central. Matic covering here. McTominay as a base. Maguire sometimes Beckenbauering. Lindelof as the lone defensive. And Wan Bissaka sometimes here. Does this obviously, in brackets, obviously clarify that United are in still need of a world class right winger?
Uh, there's no secret that we do need a right-sided forward and someone. And by right-sided forward, I do not mean Mason Greenwood. I do not mean someone who likes to cut in and play as a number nine. I mean someone who can ping the ball in from the right-hand side. I mean, for the future, we have Pelistri, we have Traore coming in, but we needed a first teamer. We needed Jadon Sancho. That is,
Heartbreak
as a
Hotel.
United fan, I cannot stress upon the importance of right-sided forward. We have not had a forward like that since like what, a decade now, and even more than a decade. Ah, Sancho is a player which we really needed. Let's forget Sancho. Even I think Coman would have improved this team. Anyone would have
Like
improved this team.
like
I
I'm just
just
cutting you
wanted
off, like
right-sided
I'm
forward.
cutting you off a bit there. Imagine, see how teams like Bayern Munich, where they were clearly after Leroy Sané, they brought in
Hmm.
Ivan Perisic and on loan. Couldn't have a
Hmm.
team of United stature, just brought in Perisic. Even Bale was up there. Bale would have started for sure. He's benched by Bergwijn at the moment for obvious tactical reasons, but he would have got more game time until and unless we got our main target. That's what Bayern's philosophy is for a long point of time. Is it so much difficult for United to attract players at this point of time, or is it just we do not want to pay high wages or to take a gamble on injury prone players, or is it a bit of both?
I don't think it's about attracting young players. I don't think it's about attracting big players. I think Sancho wanted to come in. There is no doubt about it. Talking of Bale, I wouldn't have Bale anywhere near Manchester. I mean, he's injury prone. He's on high wages. We've already let go of Sanchez because of his wages. We're on the verge of letting go of Pogba, who wants a big contract. I think we have dodged a bullet there. Coming off Perisic, I think he's too old a player. I don't think so he can cut in the Premier League. They had to go all in on Jadon Sancho. That was so obvious. Anyone could see it, and by not delivering on that, I think that is a big fat L. And Woodward, he has blood on his hands.
So suddenly, if you remember how Ole was playing in the first match against Cardiff, like there was clearly a fluid front three. Martial on the right, Rashford out. Rashford was playing center at that moment of time, center forward in that half a season. Pogba behind him. You can clearly see that Ole is employing a fluid style of play. And suddenly, Martial, without a right-sided support, can only turn one way, which was very much evident against the match in West Ham. Like Balbuena read his mind all the way through. He was coming in shot, Balbuena was bang inside his back. Coming in shot, bang, because he was always turning to his right, facing the left with his back to goal. Is Martial's lack of form because of a predictability of United's over importance or over like playing through the left? I showed you the match board. We are too much congested on the left hand side. Supposedly, and Amad Diallo, I rate him very highly. Facundo Pelistri still there. I think he has been brought on to replace Dan James because from if I'm an idiot, I would just classify myself from the barriers of a Brandon Williams to a Dan James. So I'm not an idiot, by the way. That was just a metaphor of expression. Both these players are like they will succeed. Brandon Williams and Dan James at teams like Palace or Everton, where they play counter-attacking football and they do not have to make intelligent decisions. That's where a Jadon Sancho would have come. Even he would have played on right wing, left wing. Rashford could have got a break at times, which he could not. He played through injury. That was so much important. But talking aside, Sancho, I think January might be a good time in terms of switching because I personally feel that there could be two things. Number one, Paul Pogba doing a Wayne Rooney and getting himself a contract because at this point of time, no club is willing to pay his wages. No club is that willing to take. Okay, I want to take. No club is like that. Juventus are also happy at this point of time, and if they don't clear Deadwood or
They
Cristiano
can't even
Ronaldo,
afford
Juventus
him. Juventus
they
cannot
cannot
afford
afford
Paul
him.
Pogba.
Real Madrid has the emergence of Fede Valverde. Do not need Pogba that box to box. The less I speak about Barcelona is better because someone was saying like we should swap they should Pjanic with Paul Pogba. I said like we should swap Barcelona with Paul Pogba at this point of time. That the state your club is in is a mess. No disrespect to Barcelona. I love the club. That was sarcasm. I like
I mean, I can banter my club to the, I mean, to the very core. I don't rate Woodward. No one rates Woodward. Our board is as bad as it gets. But if you look below, Barcelona are actually worse than our board. Look at the signings they've made.
are
Look
they
at
worse than
Coutinho.
Arsenal?
I mean, yes. I mean, look at Phil Coutinho, man. They paid 100 and what, 120 million odd to Liverpool.
145.
My God. And then he comes on. He goes on
120
loan
was
to
for 10 million.
Bayern. Exactly. He banters them with Bayern. He comes back to the Camp Nou with a Champions League winners medal. How low can you stoop?
And to add to that, Barcelona had to pay Liverpool 5 million because Coutinho
Exactly.
won a Champions League winners medal.
And
How much more comic can it get?
Liverpool, look at Liverpool, man. They sold Coutinho and they built a fucking squad, man. I mean, the only thing which I mean, the only thing which could have, you know, uh, which can match the level of bottle. I mean, even if I think of it, I think Sanchez to United would was a bit more than this guy, what is his name, Coutinho to Barca. They really fucked up. I mean, Barcelona is a board which is worse than United, no doubt. Worse than Arsenal. I can say it at the top of my breath. Barca is the worst run club in the world, no doubt.
This is not BFTV or Barcelona Fan Club TV. AFTV is there. I don't want to move down the alphabet order, or some fans, my friends of Barcelona fans, will come down and haunt my channel and haunt me in my dreams. Anyways, moving back to the topic that I was originally on before Barcelona banter came about. Do you think that an inclusion, if Amad Diallo, do you think Amad Diallo, first question, do you think Amad Diallo goes straight into the starting lineup?
No, no. He's not starting in the Serie A, and how do you expect a young boy to start in the Premier League? And who does he replace? Who does he replace in the starting 11? No one.
At this moment of time, Mason Greenwood, because Mason is much
I
better
don't
playing
think
up
so.
through the middle.
I don't think so. Up through the middle, we have Cavani as the. For me, Cavani is the preferred number 9. On the left, you have Marcus. On the right, you have Mason. Martial for me would be on the bench. I don't think so. He goes straight to the left. Not even in the
Like
first team squad.
if I have to tell you something which I did tactically, but I don't have the images,
Okay.
like Mason or Mata, whoever, or Dan James, whoever plays in the right wing cannot actually use his fullback to a certain extent. Mason, we know he's not that good out wide, except that match against Brighton where he scored step overs. That was direct. He's very direct. Whenever Mason comes inside, he does not look up into the box and play across. He recycles. Even what happens with Dan James is that Dan James occupies Wan Bissaka's space. That Wan Bissaka is not that much of a bad of an attacking fullback. He has his dribbles. He's a decent crosser, not your Trent Alexander-Arnold, but he was a winger for fuck's sake. Can you? What I feel is what Wan Bissaka is being held back is that the two wingers we have in our squad cannot actually utilize Wan Bissaka as a fullback. Like Marcus can actually utilize Rashford and Telles, what we have seen. And they work very well in tandem. And suddenly, when Mason comes inside, Wan Bissaka is left up there stranded at times. That's why, going back to the Sancho topic again, with his fullback
Exactly.
chemistry with Hakimi, Wan Bissaka could have been the best fullback in the league, both attacking and defensively. There's no question. Whoever says he's not defensively good needs a mental check or needs to stop watching Arsenal fan TV or support Barcelona. But at this moment of time, Jadon Sancho would have like Mohamed Salah transformed Liverpool. Jadon Sancho would have been that marquee signing, just would have even, I believe, would have transformed Martial into that fluid style that Ole is trying to create. Don't you think so?
Exactly. I mean, that levitates back to our original point. We needed a right-sided forward and someone who can put the balls in. Again, Mason is a makeshift right winger. He's not a proper right winger. He is a number nine. His future lies at that centre forward position. And coming to Traore, I honestly I haven't watched much of him, but as much as I have known the Premier League, I don't think so that he's physically ready to go straight in.
Yeah, he needs to bulk up like Mason a bit
He
before he can
exactly. I mean, look at Mason's development. When he first came in, he was a skinny boy, and now he can
turn into
go shoulder
Adriano.
to shoulder with exactly. He can go shoulder to shoulder with any defender in the league. So for me, you need to give time to Traore, like the way we have been patient with Pellistri. Pellistri is playing with the 23s, and I think that is a good exposure to him. Again, you have a change of scenario, you have a change of climate, you're moving into a different country, a new culture. There are a lot of things involved, not just football. Outside of
Absolutely.
football, there are a lot of things involved, and you have to be patient with these young boys. There's a lot of talent there. As Romano rightly said, that he is the best, the most talented young player in Italy right now. So you need to give him time. You cannot just rush in him. That's my opinion.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts. We'll just under the end of the segment. Final thoughts on the predictions. What? I know it's nervy. I don't. You don't want to go against United, but what would be your predictions for tonight's match?
Uh, see, I'm predicting a 3-0 win for United. And why? I'll give you my reasons because we're playing a back five. And so I expect us to be good defensively. And we all know what we can do on the counter. We all know what we can do on the counter. You have an electric guy in Marcus Rashford. You have one of the best passes in Bruno. The back five is shielded with Matic and McTominay, so that's like seven players behind the ball. So I don't expect us to be doing bad defensively. Maybe not even 3-0, maybe a 2-0 victory. I wouldn't I would take a 1-0 victory at this point. I just want to go through.
Absolutely. At this point of time, a victory, or even I would even take a bloody 2-2, 1-1, 3-3, 4-4, anything at the cost that we move to the Champions League qualification in the round of 16 is very necessary, very much
And
necessary. And at this point of time, I would just hope for a point. I would not get up
exactly.
my hopes high.
I cannot stand watching those Thursday night football. I mean, I cannot watch Europa, man. Please don't let us down. Please don't spoil the
And
night. I
and Europa
yeah.
as well fucks up the entire Premier League season as well.
Exactly. Who plays Europa, man? I mean, last
Arsenal.
season, Arsenal. Exactly. That's how low you need to stoop to. We are much better than that. I think we'll win.
Let's see, let's hope. So thank you Shubham again for joining in. We hope to have you soon. Let's see in a few matches. Let's see if we can host you if you're free on if we make it through to the Champions League semi-final, or not the semi-final. I
Uh,
have lost my head. I'm a bit nervous
uh,
as the game goes by. If we move to the pre-quarters, let's see if you're free, we'll host you, and that's a promise. Thank you
Thank
Shubham
you,
for
Neil.
joining
Thank you
in.
for having me here, man. Thank you. Thanks a
Absolutely
lot, man.
loved it, and let's keep on bantering Barcelona and Arsenal at this point of time.
Any
So
day.
thank you, Shubham. Thank you, Shubham. We'll say bye. We'll meet very soon.
Thank
So
you, Neil. Thank
at
you.
this moment of time, so take your leave and let's just get ready for the match. Okay, see
All
you.
the best, man.
All
Thank
the
you.
way.
Bye.
Thank you. So that was much about it from Netflix Football Podcast with Neil. I'm very nervous. I'm bloody very nervous, man. At this point of time, I'm like sweating in this cold at this point of time. It's such crucial. Hope that whenever United's backs have been against the wall, that's the culture of United. That's the brilliance of United. That's the beauty of United, that we never give up, that we have never given up, that we believe, even though times have been topsy and turvy, the COVID pandemic and stuff, but we have not given up. Like finishing 14 points adrift of the Champions League position, we got there. Two victories over Man City. Who would have thought? Ole in or Ole out, I don't care. At the stake of Manchester United wins, that's it. That is what matters today. If we go for a draw, I think we'll lose. But just as the press conference say, United are here for a victory. And I just think United will edge it 3-1 on the night, with Bruno and Marcus being on the goal scorers. Mason Cameron, a wonderful night, provided he's on his shooting boots. And that's pretty much about it. I'll stop talking for the moment. I'm very nervous, very excited. So see you soon. Let's pray that we get into the next round of the Champions League. So yes, podcast with Neil, your favorite host Neil, saying you goodbye for now. Let's meet soon enough. Chalo, take your time. Let's cheer on United. Come on, GGMU. Bye bye.